Having a coach when you're starting a new interest or skill is incredibly helpful. You're watching There's a Coach for That TV, and don't touch that dial.
From health to
Having
wealth,
a coach when
relationships to business, and everything in between, your breakthrough starts here.
Whatever challenge you're facing, there's a coach for that.
Welcome back to another soul-stirring edition of There's a Coach for That TV, the Masterclass series. I'm your host, Raven Blair Glover, and today I'm excited to introduce you to a woman whose journey proves that every chapter, even the unexpected ones that we don't prepare for, well, everyone, guess what, has a purpose. Absolutely. And Janice Debo is a connector, communicator, and a catalyst for transformation. She's here with us today. She has over 30 years of experience in sales, marketing, and training teams. Janice never imagined she'd become a coach until someone else saw in her what she hadn't yet claimed. Think about that. How many of you, someone has said, you should do that, right? That's what happened to her. I can't wait to hear her story. From building a successful sleepwear business to becoming a published author and trusted guide, her path is a beautiful evolution of courage, of confidence, and connection. So if you ever doubted whether the twist in the journey are leading somewhere meaningful, pay attention to this. There's a coach for that is here for everyone. And we want to welcome you to the show, Janice. How you doing?
Great. Thank you so much, Raven. This is wonderful.
First of all, before we even get into that, back in May, you celebrated 30 years. Can we just say wow and give you applause for that one? How about that? Yes, because that is amazing. When you think about 30 years of being in business, Janice, 30 years of impacting others, how does it feel?
It was kind of surprising when I started putting the numbers together, to be honest. I was like, wow, that was how long ago? But I'm reflecting as I write my memoirs, so the numbers came together.
Oh my goodness, you must have started when you were 16 because you look absolutely gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I did. I sold Avon door to door.
Well, that's good. No wonder you're doing so well. On this show, we love to start with your backstory because we're true believers that people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. That's actually what made me decide to do There's a Coach for That TV, because there is a coach for everything everyone needs. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I'm amazed at how many different types of and areas of coaching there are out there now, and not everybody fits the bill for everyone else. So that's why my story doesn't fit for necessarily everyone, but there are those out there that can resonate.
Yeah. Tell us about who Janice Debo was in the early age. You talked about you sold Avon. Okay. So maybe you start back as far as back that. We want to know a little bit about you, who you are, and where you were back then, and how you got to where you are now.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. I am a North Carolina born and raised gal, and that puts me in the Southern Belle category. I've been called a Southern Belle. I'm not very prissy. In North Carolina, my dad was a preacher, and we moved a lot. We moved, I think I went to 6 different schools. My high school, thankfully, I got to stay in one place for 4 years and finish high school there. And that was in a little town, well, not as little as it was, but Roxborough in the north central part of North Carolina. And so during high school, I had taken a after school job. You know how you get a work permit? I don't know if they still do that these days, but I got a work permit at 15 and worked in this little Rose's store. Now, I don't even know if they exist anymore. Rose's was a department store, one of the first, I think, prior to Kmart and all that other stuff. But they hired me, and I don't know what department I worked in, but I do know that at some point somebody approached me to sell Avon. And But honestly, what I loved about doing that, I love the little free sample lipsticks, Raven.
Oh,
Remember?
I used to love those too. I always liked the fuchsia, even back then, and the
Ex-
red, of course.
Yeah. So, I love getting all the
They're
samples and
like
I got
this,
to
about
give,
like that size, right? Just really small, little mini ones. Hmm.
but they were so cute. And, but at growing up, I did move a lot and I learned to make friends easily because you had to, if you were going to have any and you got relocated every
Hmm.
few years, you had to learn how to adapt. And so I was a natural for sales even from a young age. Now, when I went to college after high school, I thought I was going to be a speech therapist, see if I can say it without needing speech therapy. But anyway, I put that aside and married a high school sweetheart and quit college. So I never finished that degree, but honestly, I found out it was going to take a doctorate to do much with it. And I said, I am not doing 8 years of this. So I was a really good student, but I did not want to do 8 years of college to get a doctorate degree. As it turned out, I wound up working in a lot of different sales positions. But before I got there, I took a job as a secretary. Raven, the guys just said, you don't know how to take orders. You do not know how to take orders. You're not a good secretary. I could type, I could answer the phone, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't like and still don't like being told what to do. That independent spirit that I got, I honestly got it from my dad, truthfully. And so when I was working for this big corporation, I was working in an office with probably a dozen different salesmen. One
Hmm.
of them, yeah, one of them took me under his wing and he said, let me help you lose that deep Southern accent. And he did. I still have some, but it was really hard to understand on the phone, especially. So he coached me in that. And then when another one said I needed to get into sales or something else other than what I was doing,
Hmm.
the same guy came along and he started giving me some mentoring in sales. And as it turned out, the company that sold us a new telephone system hired me. He was impressed. He hired me, and that was my first sales job. So I hit the street, never having any official training, and just started selling telephone systems.
You
Um,
just a natural connector, sounds like, as well. And I mean, people obviously are drawn to you, going back from the lady that came up to you and asked you about, being Avon representative. And then this guy seeing something in you and saying, hey, okay, this is where she's kind of struggling at. I can help her with that. He said, there's a coach for that. I can help her with that.
right.
And he did. And now, what was specifically did you say you took after your dad? Was it the connecting part of what you do, being a natural connector, or a natural salesperson? Just so I can, or both.
Independent spirit. My dad and I both, tend to be rebels, independent. And
Okay.
although he was really good with people, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I learned that from him as well, because when you're a preacher, you better be really good with people.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a people person. He had a heart of gold and he really cared. So
Mm-hmm.
I think in addition to being independent, the independent spirits kind of got me in trouble at times, as you might guess. But it's also taken me a lot of places where I would
Yeah.
not have gone.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Have you always been kind of pioneerish, groundbreaking? I get the feeling that there's a lot of, you were the first to do that. Was it not like that for you or not? And it's okay if not. It's just
Oh,
what I'm
that's
starting to get a feeling of.
um. I don't know about a lot of first. I know that I've
Okay.
had a lot of people in my life that have seen gifts that the gentleman that got me into coaching, for instance, is another one of those stories.
Mm-hmm.
So the lingerie business that we discussed, and ironically, we compared notes, and you interviewed me how many years ago? 11?
I think we said that was like 2014.
Oh, yeah, 11
Yeah.
years ago. But,
Mhm.
and that company came out of a first. So that was very unique.
Yeah. Well,
And
especially back then, if it's so funny because back then there were more men doing it than women for some reason, isn't it? Lingerie and different things like that. Um, I want to tap into what appears to be just when I watch you on social media and talk to you and stuff, you just seem to be a natural connector. You easily connect with people, like from the first, like us, like from the first time. You can just, it's almost like if you talk to Janice Debo, you guys, it's almost like you guys are just extending a conversation. Maybe you hadn't seen each other for years and you're back at it, because it's so natural and stuff. Where did that come from? Mom, dad, or just being around a lot of people, maybe going to even back then to, when you're in Amway and Mary Kay and all those type of businesses, Avon, you go to a lot of events. So where did that natural ability to connect come from? Just curious.
It's just a gift that I obviously was born with. You can't train that, but so much.
Yeah.
And I think that again, that might have been credited to my dad.
Is
My
he a
mom,
people person? He likes to talk. He's a people person.
oh, he definitely was. He's passed
Uh-huh.
now, but he
Okay.
definitely was a people person. And I've always connected people. I've always had, I mean, for most of my life, people would call and say, who do you know that does this? And who do you
Mm-hmm.
know that does that? And
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to meet so and so. And I just have enough courage to reach out. And if I don't even know somebody, I'll say, you don't know me, but I've got somebody that wants to meet you, kind of thing. And yeah, so connecting with people and connecting people are huge strengths that I have. And I trained people to network for a long time, ran groups, um, focused on helping them connect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just getting ready to bring that up again. Just want to remind the viewers and listeners that Janice's been doing this, just celebrated back this May of 2025, 30 years of doing this, of coaching and mentoring and making an impact. So, Janice, within your 30 years in sales and marketing and training, what were some key lessons or skills from, throughout your season that unexpectedly prepared you to become a coach?
Doing things the hard way.
So
I
failing forward.
failing forward. I think one thing that has qualified me is having made enough mistakes to help other people avoid some pitfalls. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, because that's how you learn the best. The things that you remember the best are the things you didn't do right. And so I learned a lot, especially when I got in the nightgown business. Boy, that was huge. It really helped me to learn how to step out into a whole new world with an online business, because my sales had been previously and marketing had been not online. I can date myself pretty well, but you can look back and see there was no internet, we weren't using email. It was knock on the door, cold calls,
Yeah,
and
back
warm
then
people.
that's exactly what it was. And it's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah,
I was
it's
gonna
so
say it's hard to think back then that it
yeah.
was it it wasn't like we even worried about safety that much or anything back then. We should have worried about it because there were things going on back then too. But I don't know, the world was just different. And if your job required a woman to go and knock on every door, we did it, right?
We did
So
it.
different now. Now you have to think about, okay, do I really want to be knocking on somebody's door? Yeah. So you got a
And
lot of boldness within you is also what I see. Where'd that come from?
oh my, I think that again, that came from growing up and having to adapt. And my mom was pretty bold. She had a bit of a wild streak in her, I found out as I look back at life. And so being a preacher's wife, she had to adapt as well.
Oh, your
So
dad was a preacher. Okay.
oh yeah, yeah, that changed a lot. That when you're raised in that environment, you either become a shrinking violet or you step out.
Well, let's talk about that for a second because I know nothing about that, but I've heard people talk about, oh, what they call it, preacher kid. No, they say it's a
PK,
initial.
PK.
PK. Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about that because I want to see how you grew up as a
Mhm.
PK, a preacher kid, to what you're doing now. And I know that means you had to make sure your dress was pulled down, your hair was looking right. Everybody and parents always back then anyway. I would imagine even more so as a PK kid. Everybody's watching you, so you feel like you really can't be free to be who you are. You know, there's Miss So and So, there's Sister So and So. How was that life for you? And how
Oh,
did it affect you now? How does it affect you even still today?
well, I learned to pretend. You know, all kids pretend
Yeah.
and have fantasy worlds, but I learned extra hard, extra good how to pretend and walk the walk. And
Mm.
and preachers have it tough. They've got multiple personas that they have to adapt to be one way in the church, another way at home. And so I saw that. I grew up seeing that my dad, he didn't have multiple personalities, but he had to adapt to all the different circumstances. And my other siblings were my older brother who passed last year. He was like me. I mean, social, outgoing, and but yet I am still the one who wants her quiet time. Now I can put a certain amount of energy out there, but when it's time to pull back and rest, I know how to do that.
Mm.
But I don't think my older brother had an off switch. So, learning how to connect with people, it just came so easily, and I didn't,
Yeah.
you know, one of the biggest breakthroughs I had, besides, doing the Avon thing, I don't even know how that happened. But speaking of lipstick, here's a funny story. My mother wouldn't let me wear makeup until I was 16. Now, all of you
Mm.
that are, yeah, there are people who can identify with that, I'm sure. I was like, no, no, couldn't get my ears pierced or wear makeup till I was
Yeah.
16.
I was like that too. Probably mine was probably even older, you know. Yeah.
Well, one of the big breakthroughs in my life that showed me my gifts was a high school classmate. He was the president of the Spanish club, and I was in the Spanish club. It came time to elect a president for the senior year.
Mm.
He approached me and he didn't ask. He said, "You're going to be president next year." And I'm like, well, I was. He made it happen. It pulled me out of any apprehension of leadership
Mm.
or any, I guess, apprehension of being in front of people. So it looks like my whole life, if you track it out, there's incidents all throughout my life where people saw my gifts
Yeah.
and
Before you see them. Yeah. And that's pretty shocking right there. Let's go to aha moments because we're about halfway through. We've got about 15 minutes. I want to squeeze in a lot here.
okay.
Aha moments that changed everything for you. I want to talk to you about that for a minute. When it comes to mind, an aha moment, which one would it be for you?
Well, the high school thing that I just mentioned for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That I go back and look at pictures and go, wow, I did that. That was a realization, although I realize it more now than I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another one would be when I started writing my blogs. I always loved to draw and play with, paper dolls and things like that. But as a kid, I don't recall being a writer per se.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody suggested to just start writing and it flowed. That was a big moment for me to realize I do have the writing gift, and I get to express myself and encourage others to express themselves
I
through.
love that. Encourage others to express their self. That's a biggie too. As a coach, that's not always easy, is it?
No, and one of the things I love to do with people, Raven, is help them see, like people have helped me see,
Mm-hmm.
what what's hidden in those cobwebs in that mind or in that life that we can pull out. That's your gift. I want people to have their aha moments and see that if I have a real gift for seeing the gifts in others that they
Isn't
don't.
that interesting though? Think about that. Think
Mhm.
about that. Stop the interview. We got to think about that because, here you are. People are drawn to you and they're telling you what your gift is. And before you realize that's your gift, because you're so natural at it, you're not even thinking it as a gift. It's just who you are, right? But you are really good at finding out what other people's gifts are. What's my gift?
Oh, clearly interviewing, radio, TV star.
I'll take that.
But that's already out there, so it's not like I'm seeing anything. What really stuck out for me the first time I talked to you was like the bubbly personality, you're just like, you know how we blow bubbles as kids and even adults. That's Raven. Bubbles. You're very bubbly and you really are excellent at helping people share their story. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, you heard it from her. Janice Debo. Hey, 30 years. She knows her stuff. I just had to sneak that in there. But yeah, that is a gift to be able to help others see their gift, but more importantly, do like you have done, Janice, in 30 years, is take them from seeing their gift to actually turning that dream, that gift into a reality. Because that's the hard part, that as coaches. And I want to talk to you more about your coaching practices and your strategies and stuff in our segment next week when we have segment 2. So you guys be sure to join us. If you think you heard something now about her story, wait till you hear about her style of coaching, her strategies, her formulas of success. And that's what we dive deep into if you're first time joining us here on There's a Coach for That TV Masterclass series. That's when we really go deep into the business. So just hang with us another 10 or 11 minutes, and we're going to pull out a little bit more of your story so people can really get to know Janice. Don't you feel like you know her now? I mean, I didn't know that she was a PK kid, so there you go, and that she really, really, was so natural about her gifts. Think about that, y'all, that she didn't even know most of it. It was just natural. She was just a free to be me type of person with a lot of courage and a lot of spunk, and that probably came from being a PK kid, because you had to, like you said, pretend. So when you had the opportunity to authentically shine, it felt good, right?
Right.
It felt good. Yeah, right. So I remember, and when you sent us over your information, one thing that stood out to us is somebody walked up to you and said something, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was relating to, okay, you're doing this, but why aren't you getting paid? Tell us about that moment.
That was the turning point. Matter of fact, there's a very short video on YouTube, and I'm sure I could share that with you to go in my backstory. And it was 8 years ago, in August of 2017. I was actually trying to sell this particular person something because he made websites and he was a coach. And I was trying to get him to buy what I was selling. And he said, "Why aren't you getting paid for what you really do?" And the look that came on was like the deer in the headlights about, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, "You connect people and you teach and train people." That's when I said, nobody's going to pay for that. Well,
that's a natural thing that we all think. I think it's so funny. We can't wait to get in business. Yeah. And we're doing everything we can to keep ourselves busy and psychologically thinking I'm in business, but we're not even focusing on the money. And then the first thing people tell me, I don't know if they tell you, is, well, I just want to change the world. I just want to make an impact. I just want to inspire. Okay. It's not going to be very inspiring if you're on the corner with your bags and stuff on you, but go ahead.
No, but that's true. It really did surprise me. And he did that little short video was that very day. And it's very short where he's introducing me. He built my first website for me, gave me the nickels worth of coaching. And as far as he goes, just keep doing what you're doing, but go find a guinea pig and don't charge them. Just make them your, just practice what you're going, what you're going to do
at the end, huh?
Yeah. And she was changing careers from being like a secretary or an office person like I had been into sales. So that was a real natural fit for me. And I met her at a networking group. I just announced that I was looking for a guinea pig, and she about jumped over the table because the transition was
Yeah.
yeah, me.
Yeah.
So yeah, we worked together for quite some time, and she started to do really well. And she was in one of the hardest industries there was, and that was insurance sales.
Oh, insurance. Oh, yeah, that was especially back then.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
she was putting a lot of knowledge on that car, probably. For sure.
We'll be right back after this quick break.
Put 4 people in the same situation, and you may get 4 completely different reactions. Not because one is right and another is wrong. We simply don't all think, communicate, or respond the same way. Fire, earth, water, wind, your natural path element may reveal more about you than you expect. When you understand how people naturally communicate, misunderstandings can become understanding. At work, in business, and in life, understanding yourself can change how you connect with the people around you. Understanding yourself makes it easier to communicate confidently, make courageous choices, and move forward. Through personal development, coaching, and path elements, Janice Debo turns greater understanding into meaningful action. Discover your elements. Understand your strengths. Find your path forward.
I'm Janice Debo. Find your path forward at janicedebo.com.
You're starting a new skill or interest is incredibly helpful. You're watching There's a Coach for That TV, and don't touch that dial. Good day, everyone. I'm Sarah Jenkins, field reporter for There's a Coach for That TV, and today we're taking to the streets of New York City. Quick question. What if the thing you think is no big deal is actually one of your greatest gifts? Let's find out. Are always coming to you for help with?
Definitely travel advice. I seem to know all the tricks for finding cheap flights.
You've known her a while. What's something she's really good at that she probably doesn't give herself credit for?
You have this amazing ability to make friends wherever you go, instantly.
I don't know if that's a gift, but I just like talking to people.
You know, your superpower is honestly how you connect with people. You just bring everyone together effortlessly.
Wait, really? I never thought of it that way, but I love it.
Yeah.
What do people always come to you for? Honestly, most people just ask me for directions. What's something people are always coming to you for help with?
Finding the best pizza slices around here.
What do people come to you for help?
People come to me when they feel lost. I help them find direction
In life or in the city?
in life, in the city, but I'm better at life.
See the pattern? Sometimes everybody else recognizes our gifts long before we recognize them ourselves. That's what Coach Janice Debo helps people uncover, the gifts hiding in plain sight. And yes, there's a coach for that. And now, back to the show.
A lot of times, if you go into business, you think you know it all, or you think you got it all together, you're making a huge mistake. Because you better be open. You better be open to learning and learning from your mistakes and learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk about, we just mentioned changing. Let's talk about your reinventing yourself. How many times do you feel you reinvented yourself from the young girl getting into Avon to now?
Oh my goodness. Got a calculator. Okay. So
Here you go.
I was the preacher's kid, the high school. I was really one of the brainy ones in high school, did really well and all that. And looking back, it's fun to look back at pictures and go, okay, I reinvented myself to when I was doing that into college, going to college. That was a completely different thing. Then getting out into the retail world when I left college, because I went into retail, but I was still selling. I was working in a department that I really loved, and that was the sewing department, because I learned to sew when I was 8 years old. And And all through high school, I made most of my clothes, almost all of them, and was really good at what I did. Then later on, the retail just wasn't cutting it. So I was hired into that office job, like I said, and that was a different persona. And then stepping into sales, into outside sales, was yet another one. And I would say for everything I sold, which was anything from telephone systems to mobile phones to background music. Speaking of insurance, I got my insurance license. That lasted one day.
Really?
I hated it. Absolutely hated it. But so I couldn't even count how many different times that I wound up growing and becoming ready to do what I do now. And it's a matter of becoming. I didn't alter my personality. I just grew through it.
Yeah. Okay. What gave you the courage every time you reinvented yourself to keep evolving? Because one thing for sure, there's always those challenges, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But what do you feel gave you the courage to keep evolving? Was it the fact that you just weren't happy, you knew you were meant for more, or you wanted to prove something to yourself, to someone? Where was that? Where did that gumption come from?
Oh my goodness.
How old I am. Who uses gumption these days?
It is. I think I've always had it. Just used it in different ways. Sometimes it was financially motivated, needed a job, and was good at what I do. I got hired away from one job to the next regularly because one job I was selling office equipment for an office supply company, and my competitor had coffee with me and said, "We want to interview you." And they hired me because I beat her with it. Yeah, I outsold her. So I think it's just a natural progression of life where I was bettering myself subconsciously. I was growing through all these phases. And I have to tell our audience, between years in college, I took one job that I would never recommend.
What was that?
I was hired to pre-sell grave plots.
Well, that's a horrible job. But somebody got to do it, though.
Yeah, I was pre-selling for whoever was going to go close the deal, so to speak. So,
okay,
that one lasted one day too.
I guess it would. I mean, it's not. I mean, it pays though, But for me, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. Well, we're glad that you kept evolving. Do you feel like you finally made that last reinvent, or do you think there may be another one?
Well, with me doing all that I'm doing now, of course, I'm doing coaching, is what we're discussing, but I've also got my podcast. That has really evolving me in a lot of ways. Being interviewed a lot, interviewing a lot of people, that is part of the evolution of where I'm headed. I do want to be on stages, virtual or otherwise.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. And writing more. Like I said, I'm writing my memoirs now, which if anybody out there wants to write your memoirs, be ready. It's not easy. Blogging is a cakewalk compared to writing your memoirs. So I would say I'm not through because I'm still here. I think I'll continue to grow in those areas. I thoroughly love helping people, and I love helping people get their stories out. I'm all about stories, people's stories, mine and others.
Yeah. Well, all of us coaches and business people, you recognize this quote. They always said, talk tells, story sells. Right? Yeah. You can talk all day, but you share someone with a story, and that's going to make them more likely say yes to your offer to no. Because they want to know you get them and they get you. That's the one thing most of us, when we look for a coach, we want someone that can help us, but we want someone that can get us too. We want to say, she gets me.
Exactly.
Re-explaining over and over again. No, but you don't understand where I came from. And that requires coaches to be what? What would you say the three strongest traits a coach needs?
Listening skills.
That was my top. And also salespeople, listening skills. Stop selling, listen. Go ahead.
Yeah, so listening skills. Another really big one is being relational. And that to me involves listening skills, but listen more than you talk. And so as the old saying goes, we got two ears and one mouth. Take a note about that. And so be more interested in the other person than you are in telling them what you want to tell them. More than, be more relational, have good listening skills. And for a coach, another one is creativity. Be creative. Have the ability to be creative.
Why creative?
Well, because if I didn't have an open mind for creativity, when I'm working with someone, I might not see the direction they need to go in, or I might not have the right, like let's say they need a bookkeeper and I've got to keep my eyes out for that, but it's not in my front of mind. So yeah, but then somebody pops up in social media or in a meeting, I go, oh, wait a minute. I think you might be the best connection. So that kind of creativity, but creativity in a professional sense. I don't know how else to explain it, but just being open to unique opportunities when you're working with someone.
Yeah, so don't be like set in a square box, because that can hold you back from taking the person you're coaching to the next level. If we're just like, oh no, this is the way it's supposed to be. I always call that don't be so corporate like, because in corporate, this is the box. And you stepped out of the box, but I only got a toe out the box. Bring that toe back in, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that when I was told by the salesman that here's the quote. I didn't say this before, but when he told me I needed to do something different, he said, "You are not a good secretary. You do not know how to take orders." Well, that's a red flag for me.
Taking orders, yeah.
And when he said that, I was like, I don't belong in a box. I didn't think that at the time. I didn't understand that concept, but I customize everything I do. Whoever I'm working with, I'm very spontaneous, customized, because nobody belongs in a box.
Yeah, nobody does. That's right. Oh, that's horrible. And plus, you were already in a box with being a PK kid.
Oh boy. Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, so that was definitely a red flag.
Yeah, I got teased. I remember one time, one school I went, these kids backed me in a corner and were harassing me because I was a PK. I'm like, I wasn't taught to fight. I was a peacemaker. So I got out of it. But yeah, those are my top three, I think.
Yeah, those are good ones. So listening skills, right. I agree. 100% start there. In your sales career, Janice, you shared that, you struggled at first. I think it was kind of like an accent. You said, right. And somebody helped you with that, right?
Right.
And then you also mentioned that, was it relationship selling or some book helped you? Tell us about that real quickly. You got just a couple minutes, but.
Okay, absolutely. Well, I was selling the office equipment at the time and I wasn't doing that great. I mean, I was okay. I was living, I was surviving, I was doing a decent. And I happened upon that book by Jim Cathcart. It's out of print, but you can always get a used copy. It's called Relationship Selling. Okay. And I related to it, no pun intended, but I understood that it is all about the person, not what stop thinking about what you're going to say next and relate to the person. Be a human being because you're across the table from a human being. Well, that took my career and I think it about tripled my income, maybe even 4 times it.
Really? Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that completely transformed your results, so to speak, huh? Moving forward.
100%. Yeah, like I said, probably 400%.
Yeah. Let's talk about some challenges you had, okay, and how you stay resilient. And one of them had to deal with your hard drive crashing.
Oh, yeah, the nightgown
When
business.
you're in the nightgown business days. Tell us about that.
Well, we had bought the company from the founder of it, and he had, we drove up from Oregon to Washington and picked up basically 6,000 nightgowns or close to it. You have no idea how much space. Our garage was no longer a garage; it was a warehouse,
Yeah.
and so while the X was categorizing, taking inventory, and doing all this, I would be up putting things in the computer, working on all the stuff you needed to do to get that up and running. And my hard drive completely crashed from my. It took 6 weeks to get me back online. So what I wound up doing was using my trusty phone to sell. And then I would get out in the community after that within that time frame. But it really brought things to a halt because I couldn't do but so much
Yeah.
except sell the nightgowns. And yeah, it did. It crashed completely. But I had someone start on a new website during that period of time and help me get set up. But yeah, that'll frazzle you when you just got a business, just started a business.
It frazzled you, but you did like all of us business people need to do. You found the courage and the strength and the endurance to stay resilient. Okay, because you can't give up. That's your business. And you talked about earlier how important as a coach it is to be creative. Let's talk about how important as a business owner it is to be creative. Because when you go through times like that, I know even with me, I get on sometimes interviews and it always happens on a celebrity expert or a celebrity. Something's going to go wrong with my equipment. I remember interviewing Mark Victor Hansen. He was referred to me by Jack Canfield. As soon as he got on, I did his intro, it was great and stuff. And he was smiling. I'm like, okay, I'm rocking this. And then all of a sudden, boom. And the circuit, something went out. And there you go.
Oh.
And then he was gone. He got back on. And, I had to call him on the phone, get him back on. And it happened a second time.
No.
And it was a live interview. This was back in the Blab day. So we were live on Blab and it was so embarrassing. I didn't have time to be embarrassed, y'all. I didn't have time to think. I just had time to be resilient and keep going and keep going. We were able to pull it off, but it wasn't a great interview. And I don't think I even re-aired the recording because the recording kept cutting off and it was such a mess to put together. But you have to be resilient, but you have to be creative. You have to think, I don't know, I was asking him questions and doing 15 things in the background. So let's talk about you. How do you stay resilient? What gives you that, how do you just keep from screaming and just say, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. What makes it happen? Inquiring minds wants to know, Janice.
Sometimes you just got to go scream somewhere. I mean,
tell me why I scream, please.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to. And I think, what is it? Water off a duck's back. Things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And okay, so that happened. There's got to be a way around this or to deal with this. And we're dealing with technology. So what are you going to do?
Yeah. Nowadays, the technology is good, but the more technology we have, the more we have to deal with. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. What do you think your biggest lesson have been in your business that you could really say accounts for who you are as a business owner and as a coach today?
I'd say it would be creating the relationships that I have and being that relational person, just being myself. I think though, a matter of fact, I gave a piece of advice to somebody. I don't know. It was in an interview or something. And they asked me the number one thing. And I said, it's just being yourself. Be who
Mhm.
you are. I did enough pretending that it's taken me most of my life to figure out, okay, this is who I really am. Follow your passion, but be yourself. Be yourself. Don't let anybody stick you in a box or put you in a cocoon or anything else.
Mhm.
Be yourself. And if you don't know who that is or what you want to do, spend some time talking to people that you know and trust. And don't put your business out there in public. Just
Yeah.
be yourself.
Be yourself and be careful on the social media as you share personal things. Remember, everybody's looking at you. And nowadays, people don't have to Google you. They still do, but they can just go to your social media, the pictures you see, the things you like and share. You be careful, especially when you're getting into that political arena, y'all. I'm just saying. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
because it can come back and haunt you. You know.
I don't put anything personal. I do goofy stuff,
Yeah.
but I'll put my cat on there and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But nobody knows my relationship status. Nobody
Yeah.
knows any of that stuff. I keep my cards close to the chest, as they say.
Yeah, you really do have to just be careful. Social media is getting a lot of people in trouble. You'll find a lot of your clients right now are going to be people that have watched you somehow on social media. Because when we first met, social media was just getting really big. You know what I'm saying? And it was more about going out, meeting people at events and different things like that. It's still about that now, but virtual has taken. We have gone through COVID. There are so many people like me that do 90% of their business at home.
Uh-huh.
And if they do their business at home, you betcha they're going to be checking out your social media thing. So just be careful. I love watching your lives. And she's a person in the morning. If I need to be lifted up, I know she's going to have a coffee cup and a bird in the coffee cup or something saying, "Good morning, tweet, tweet," or something like that.
True. I do
Yeah,
that.
I may not have time to do anything but to like it, but yeah, but yes, that's what you want to do. You can work your business and social media together beautifully. And we'll talk a little bit about that because I know, there's a strategy to all these good mornings and stuff like that. Part of it is just you're just nice. But then the other part is people love that. They're like, I love that. I need to have a coach like that. So be careful what you say and do. Janice, thank you for really walking us through the twists and turns of a PK kid to a dynamic coach that's celebrating 30 years of her journey, of 30 years of being in business, triumphs of your journey. Love to hear that. Your story reminds us that even when we don't see the full picture and we don't know our own gifts, our gifts are still shining and working behind the scenes, and people see it. People see it, and it shapes the way we show up in the world. I want to invite everybody to stay tuned for next week on episode 2, who will explore how Janice now serves others and makes that impact as a transformational coach. We'll talk about her book. Yes, and it has the word connection in it. Let's just say, are you surprised? No, I'm not. And what her work looks like, who she helps, and how her background built the exact foundation, the background that we talked about today, how it, really built the foundation for the clients that she now empowers. Tell them how they can follow you so they can be lifted up in the mornings like me on Facebook.
All right. You can find me on social media, just about everywhere, Janice Debo. And my website's easy to find, janicedebo.com. It's you can find my book there if you want to find out more before next week, as she mentioned. But Janice Debo, I have a pretty big presence on social media and on Google. So yeah, look me up, send me an email. I do free consultations to talk to potential clients, and I can help you out.
There you go. There you go. And remember, if you ever feel like, oh my God, I'm stuck, I just can't seem to make the breakthrough, there's a coach for that. And that's why we built this channel and built this show to remind you that you never have to feel alone, that you never have to try to wear all the hats and do everything on your own. And you don't have to feel stuck and overwhelmed, because there is a coach for that. And this is There's a Coach for That TV Masterclass. Keep staying tuned. I'm Raven Blair Glover, Raven, the talk show maven. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
From health to wealth, relationships to business, and everything in between, your breakthrough starts here. There's a coach for that. Put 4 people in the same situation, and you may get 4 completely different reactions. Not because one is right and another is wrong. We simply don't all think, communicate, or respond the same way. Fire, earth, water, wind. Your natural path element may reveal more about you than you expect. When you understand how people naturally communicate, misunderstandings can become understanding. At work, in business, and in life, understanding yourself can change how you connect with the people around you. Understanding yourself makes it easier to communicate confidently, make courageous choices, and move forward. Through personal development, coaching, and path elements, Janice Debo turns greater understanding into meaningful action. Discover your elements. Understand your strengths. Find your path forward.
I'm Janice Debo. Find your path forward at janicedebo.com.
Hey, I'm Holly Wagner. I just want to say how thankful I am for Janice. She helped me stay motivated, organized, and my business going. She's helped me so much with my ventures, and I'm so grateful for her.
Hi, I'm Amy. I have been working with Janice for quite a while now, and I absolutely love her journal. They have so many deep thoughts and really help you connect to yourself. And I love the way it's set up. I can skip around, get whatever I need at that time. So definitely recommend working with Janice.